Good afternoon. On behalf of the U.S. Chamber, I'd like to thank you all for joining us for the 4th CEO Summit of the Americas. Over the past 2 days, we've had the chance to see the power of businesses, large and small, to bring solutions and to create opportunity. We've heard from leaders from across the region about their vision for a brighter future, and we've also seen the power and possibility of partnerships. At the U.S. Chamber, we're committed to partnering with the hemispheric business community and governments to take sustained action and drive this agenda forward for inclusive growth. We want to seize this moment and come back stronger than before. I'd like to extend a special thank you to our speakers, and we're incredibly grateful to our sponsors, whose support is a testament to the commitment of the business community to drive closer ties across the Americas. This event was made possible with their support, with your support, and with a whole of Chamber effort, strong partners, and an absolutely incredible and dedicated team. To close, I'd like to extend a special thank you to the Department of State for their partnership. And now it is my privilege to welcome Undersecretary Jose Fernandez for closing remarks. Thank you again.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let me thank the Chamber's leaders, Suzanne Clark and Myron Brilliant, for agreeing to take on this massive undertaking, which was organizing the CEO Summit. I'd also like to thank the inspiration and the very hard work of Neil Harrington and McKeon and all of our friends at the Chamber's Americas Division for making this event such a success. And I also applaud, of course, the speakers, our sponsors, and all the participants in the CEO Summit. You know, it's been a long road. It's been a long road to the 9th Summit. And in the process of putting it together, we listened carefully to the views of the private sector and civil society. You'll see those views reflected in the political commitments on health, on digital, on climate change, clean energy, and democratic governance adopted by the leaders. Yesterday, you heard President Biden announce a new economic agenda that we were going to pursue in the hemisphere. He announced the Americas Partnership for Economic Prosperity, a historic effort to drive our hemisphere's economic recovery and deliver for our working people in the continent. America's partnership will be instrumental in deepening our economic cooperation and growing our economies from the bottom up and the middle out. It'll strengthen our supply chains, foster innovation, tackle the climate crisis, reinvigorate regional economic institutions, and ensure sustainable and inclusive trade through better cooperations on customs facilitation, good regulatory processes, strong labor, and environmental standards. We also announced a new standalone economic initiative to address the systemic challenges in public health sector governance, improve supply chains among our partner countries, catalyze more than $3 billion in the investments in Northern Central America, and provide the region's future workforce with the skills that they will need to lead in a climate-positive 21st century green economy. More specifically, yesterday I joined, and I was privileged to do this, I joined fellow coalition members across ministries of the economy, ministries of health, and leaders of the Pan American Health Organization and the Organization of the American States to launch the Economic and Health Dialogue of the Americas. This will be a member state regional initiative that will aim to build the political will and the coordination to catalyze the recovery of the Western Hemisphere from the COVID-19 pandemic by addressing the systemic challenges that have been laid bare by the pandemic, a pandemic in which our region, which has only 8% of the world's population, had 40% of the global fatalities because of COVID. And we will do this together with the private sector, with America's Rise, which is a business coalition that's been put together by the Chamber and for which we're grateful. In another initiative, Panama, Costa Rica, and the Dominican Republic have also joined in an Alliance for Development and Democracy, ADD, and have been collaborating with the U.S. on a host of issues, including what can be done to put together supply chains in the personal protective equipment and medical devices space. I'm really pleased, and this is another example of our collaboration with the Chamber. I'm really pleased that the Chamber will be launching a CEO survey on supply chains that will start by looking at the 3 ad countries, and that we will meet in July in order to review these findings and to start putting together a supply chains strategy. On another initiative, visionary private sector leaders have joined forces to support the 100,000-strong Climate Alliance, including CAF, the Development Bank of Latin America, Grupo Energía de Bogotá, Cementos Progreso, and Amazon. These 100,000-strong initiatives will help provide the region's workforce with the skills, again, that they will need to lead in the 21st century. We're also, of course, very, very proud of the public-private efforts in Central America that we've undertaken. Yesterday, Vice President Harris welcomed new companies to her call to action, which now totals more than $3.2 billion in planned investment commitments for Northern Central America. We look forward to putting these dollars to work, to working with these companies and these countries, to see how these projects can help address the root causes of migration. Well, there are more initiatives that I could regale you with, but now the hard work of implementing these goals and these commitments begins. It will continue after the summit. I encourage all of you here and watching, to hold our feet to the fire. Hold our feet to the fire when it comes to translating these goals into concrete actions that benefit people across the region. The necessary follow-on meetings, the meetings where the hard work will take place, will likely not attract the same kinds of headlines that we're seeing today, but this is where we will produce the changes that the region needs. In closing, I think in all of the projects that I've outlined and most of the projects that we will announce, there are a couple of common themes: the private sector and our allies and partners. You see, whenever I'm asked around the world how the U.S. can compete with countries that deploy their state-owned companies to advance their national economic interests around the world, I respond that we have 2 competitive advantages. We have our private sector and we have our friends. Give me the private sector, give me our workers, and put them together with our partner countries in this hemisphere, and I'll take my chances. So thank you, and let's get to work.